Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Lazma Aulia. I'm the moderator. We will present of community language learning the method. It will be explained by my friend.
The definition of community language learning. Community language learning or CLL is a language teaching approach in which students work together to develop what aspects of language they would like to learn. It is based on the counseling approach in which teacher acts as a counselor and a paraphraser, while the learner is seen as a client and collaborator. So it means the teacher will translate what you are going to speak. So if you want to speak something, you can just speak and the teacher will be the translator or the paraphraser for you. The CLL emphasizes the sense of community in the learning group, encourage interaction as a vehicle for learning. So the community language learning is emphasizing in the community, so we can share our knowledge to each other, to one another. So we are not studying by myself, or we are studying together with our friends. And consider as a priority the students' feeling. So the CLL learning is caring about students' feeling and the recognition of obstacles in language acquisition. There is no syllabus or textbook to follow. So when we are using the CLL method, we don't need to any syllabus or textbook to follow, because the students will determine the content of the lesson, what they want, by the meaningful conversation in which they discuss in a real message. Principle of CLL. In CLL, the student is considered a whole person. An individual is intact. It means that the teacher do not just pay attention to the feeling and understanding of students, but also relationship with fellow students and the desire of students to learn. According to Curran, 1989, students feel uncomfortable in new situation. The existence of a teacher is not seen as a threat, the some errors and limitation of the students, but the teacher is becoming a counselor who focuses the students and their needs. So the teacher is not solving you the error, but the teacher is becoming the counselor. So if you have any problem in learning language, so you can share it to the teacher, because the teacher is the counselor and the teacher will help you to solve your problem in learning language. And in the CLL methods, the teacher do not just pay attention in the knowledge of the students only, but also the students' feeling and the students' relation with their fellows or with their friends. These are the principles of CLL. Do you understand?
The purpose in using the community language learning method is CLL is to learn how to use the target language communicatively. Teachers who use CLL method is to learn about their own learning, and 2, to take increasing responsibility for it, and 3, to learn how to learn from one language to another.
The roles of teacher, student, and material. The teacher's role is primarily that of a counselor. This doesn't mean that the teacher is a therapist or that the teacher doesn't teaching, but it means that the teacher recognizes how threatening a new learning situation can be for adult learners. So he skillfully understands and supports his students in their struggle to master the foreign language. And then student as learners, students play a crucial and active role in education. They involve and interact with other students and teachers, participate in classroom discussion, and act in a receptive manner. And then learning materials are important because it can significantly increase student achievement by supporting student learning. Learning materials can support the student learning and increase student success. Ideally, the learning materials will be tailored to the content in whose class they are being used and the teacher. The element in the learning process. Security is a sense of security on students and the teachers themselves. A sense of security can be found when classmates, along with their counselor, shows the attitude of mutual cooperation and give confidence to him. Attention aggression is seeking a balance between teachers and students in foster care in an active role in the learning process. Retention and reflection is a self-reflective process to determine the extent to which the students have mastered the subject matter and what problems that arise in the learning process. Discrimination is the stage where the errors of speech, expression, and syntax don't matter. The most important thing is communication occurs where the listener can understand the intent of the speaker.
Technique of language learning community. These are translation, group work, recording, transcription, analysis, reflection and observation, listening, free conversation.
The real sample implementation of the learning, you can watch the video by the title Community Language Learning Method. It is the real example of CLL method. You can watch it by yourself, guys.
Advantage of community language learning is the first, to promote cooperation between the student with other students in learning the target language. Second, to increase confidence in learning the target language. The last, the learner in the learning of CLL will feel free to express what they want to say in their original language to the target language. And the disadvantage of community language learning is first, use a lot of time, and the second, the success of this method depends on the expertise counselor when translating. Translation is a complex and complicated process that often easier said than practiced. If aspects of language that are difficult to translate wrongly, there can be misunderstanding in the language. And the last, CLL can only be done in small classes, ranging from 6 until 12 students. The conclusion is community language learning is a good method for practicing communication. It is also a good method for beginners who has experience for the first time in studying their second language. Using this method can help beginners to reduce their anxiety in the classroom. So many students were anxious and never enjoy when learning English. The teacher believes that the punishment and pressure could help students to learn more. There are a lot of reasons related to language achievement, such as students' personality characters, learning style, education system, textbooks, appropriateness, or educators' method. Even though anxiety is not the most important reason for failure or success in learning language, we cannot ignore its affection. This method consists the students to be a whole person. It is not only to think about the students' intellect, but also their feeling in learning language. Is there any question? You can ask below.